Ladies and gentlemen, what started as a simple clarification turned into one of the most revealing and uncomfortable moments at the Madlanga Commission so far. And trust me, by the end of this, you're going to understand why this testimony has people raising serious questions. Because at first glance, it sounded like confusion, just a mix-up of meetings. But the deeper they went, the more it started to feel like something bigger was hiding underneath. But before we break it down, let's listen to what they had to say. Don't forget to give us a like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more political updates and analysis. Now let's get to the video.
At paragraph 23, and I just need you to clarify because I understood things differently until this discussion you're having now with Ms. Bowe. At 23, you say you had a meeting with Fundiswa with her son, your nephew. And this is where she said she would like you to meet Mr. Molefe. And then in paragraph 25, you say indeed a meeting was arranged. And then we met at a restaurant in Alberton at the end of June 2024. I had understood that in fact the meeting of the 23rd is just you and Fundiswa and the son. And then there's another meeting in paragraph 25, which is you and Mr. Molefe. So two different meetings, but the second meeting with Mr. Molefe, as I understand it, in paragraph 25, Fundiswa was not there. But in your discussion with Ms. Bowe, you're saying there's a meeting where you are all present with Mr. Molefe, and then Fundiswa leaves you with the son. Can you just explain that? It may be my misunderstanding of your explanation.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Baloyi. Commissioner Baloyi, it's true in paragraph 23, I met with Fundiswa and my nephew. And the following day, if you can look at paragraph 23, I said a day or two later, I met with Fundiswa in the presence of her son, with my nephew. She informed me about this and this. Then we dealt with that one. Then in paragraph 25, indeed, a meeting was arranged between Katiso and myself. It was arranged by Fundiswa, because she's the one who requested me to meet the husband, and telling me that the husband wanted to meet me also. Fundiswa was there to introduce the husband, because I never knew him, I never saw him physically before. And she brought him along, and she was still going with the 17-year-old nephew. Then after introducing us, because she introduced the husband to me, she introduced me to the husband, she left. She left the two of us, and then she...
Thank you, Brigadier. So it was on a different date?
Yeah, it was the following day.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Advocate. As we were concluding the meeting, Katiso, whom I'm now knowing as my brother-in-law, now calling him Butke, he told me that a friend of his had been arrested, and he needed to know if money for his friend. And I told him right away. In actual fact, I just stop him and say, Swara, me, I don't talk work-related cases with anyone, not even my wife, that I'll be talking to her. And if you wanted us to have a sound relationship, my work is off limits. We don't talk about it, my cases. After that...
my apologies. And when this happens, The only thing he was able to get out was that he had a friend and he just wanted to know if bail would be opposed and that he'd be willing to pay the bail. That's all he said. That's as far as he could get before you stopped him.
Yes, Advocate. Remember, he earlier on expatiated on how he grew up with friends. You know how he grew up at school and what. When I do recollection now, I think when he was telling me his upbringing, he told me that he had friends and what. So when he come to this, it crossed my mind that, maybe the friend's stories was about to tell me this. Then I said, no, sir. I don't talk cases that I'm involved with any other person except, not even my wife, except at my workplace. We don't talk about my work. So he did not come to mention the name of the friend yet. But back in my mind, it was that when he's about to talk about cases that I'm involved in, then it will not be right for me to talk about it with him. And I don't know him. It's the first time I meet him.
I guess, Brigadier, what I'm trying to get a sense of is, was it as vague as you recall, the discussion about the arrested friend?
It was not. It was not that vague because I was not thinking of anything big, but I was just thinking that, if you're coming to talk about the case that I'm involved, where your friend was arrested and was arrested by me, and you need...
On your answer, so you understood him to be raising it because this is a case you are involved in?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Brigadier.
Thanks, Advocate. Should I continue on paragraph 28?
Yes.
After that meeting, Fundiswa contacted me to inquire how the meeting had gone. I informed her in general terms that the meeting was cordial and that we had discussed various personal matters, including my approaching to the retirement. A few days later, I attended a social gathering, which is, we call it a stockfell, with my colleagues in the subs. The gathering was attended mainly by the police officers that we normally come together, including Sergeant Lebukhang Tsukudu. Tsukudi and I have been friends since around 2017. I beg your pardon. We often discuss both professional and personal matters, and we attend social gatherings together. During the stockfell, Sergeant Tsukudu and the colleagues mentioned that they were around my area of work, which is in the Sidibeng district, escorting suspects to and from court. And they quoted the suspect, amongst the suspect that they were escorting, there was a police officer suspect. That police officer suspect, whom we got to know, that is Michael Puletao. As the conversation went on, it triggered my mind that they are talking about the case that my brother-in-law Katiso was intending to lure me to assist him in the bail of this particular person.
Sorry. Can you please explain how you made the connection?
Commissioner Chair, these colleagues of mine They are saying, Brigadier, we were around your vicinity. Now, we were escorting suspects of that case of Michael Puletao, that police officer, whom we normally discuss about those things when we are together. Then they said this Puletao was going for bail application. Now, the word bail application, it triggered my mind to say, Katiso spoke about bail application of a case that I've arrested his friend. So I put the puzzle together to say, oh, this is where Katiso was coming to.
I'm not beginning to probe at this stage. That will come at a much, much later stage. But I must say this, that I don't quite see any dots to connect there. I mean, as a police officer, I would imagine that there are lots and lots of cases that involved bail that you would have been involved in. So that's why I say I just don't see the dots that you would have been able to connect.
I acknowledge, Commissioner. However,
so if you acknowledge that, how then did you come to relate this to what Mr. Mulife had raised with you?
Commissioner, obviously, when now I'm alone, after parting ways with Katiso, I asked myself, which case was this guy wanting to talk about? And I could only imagine of a case that happened recently is of that Michael Puletao.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Thanks, Chair. I then said to Tsukudu and them, because we were all with those other friends, without instruction or request, kune autis barasam, ne? There's a brother-in-law of mine who recently spoke about requested me to assist him with a bail. He did not mention who is this friend of him that I've arrested that is looking to get assistance with bail. And then I stopped him. And then I told him that I don't discuss work. I said this in just a general comment while we were sitting and drinking there, and just to align this case, because I said, oh man, this case actually is the one that Usbarwam the Kulmangayums, Yoguchi Upule, I mean, this guy is looking for a bail. So I dismissed him and said, hey, I don't talk work with this. And then they said, this guy you say is your brother-in-law, Usbarwa. Yes, Usbarwa. So during the discussion, there were those things that Chukudu will say, or some others will say, but why did you dismiss him before he told you? I said, no, that is not what I do with people that I don't know. The person that I've just met now then is talking about cases, and that is unethical for me. Then I dismissed him. He said, but he's your relative, Mos. I said, yeah, but still I cannot. And he said, but we think if you were able to, you should help him. I said, you can help him, Mina. I don't go that route. I can't help him. I cannot, even if he's a family, I cannot help him. Exactly, Advocate.
And then you just said in passing that if they want to help them, you can, but you won't. Can you just clarify what you meant there?
No, Advocate, there were, when we were discussing, in a social gathering where you have casual talk. Now, the other one will be saying, Mara, you are not fair, bro. Askiru give brother, Kiswara Saham Tago. Wow, some tools. Some tools when I'm tools. Just a general comment. Like we will be in a social gathering, if I may make an example, Advocate. We will be gathering and as boys will always be boys. And then we'll be sitting there and then this one will be saying, hey man, Braibi, do take and low, I want to peggy, man, niggas a chance. To me, it's not my liking. If when I is your liking, you can go for her. You understand? So it's in that text. Yeah.
Okay, understood. You can
So
then...
or rather colloquially, you would be shooting crap, colloquially.
Much as I'm not sure
what this means.
But I think it sounds like it is like that.
Thank you, Brigadier. You can then move on to paragraph 31.
In paragraph 31, Advocate, I was later surprised to learn that Tsukudu had approached witness B about Tau's case. I never asked him to do so. I never asked him to convey any message to witness B, whether about opposing bail or about thanking her, as I've alluded in the above paragraph, how it happened. If Tsukudu told witness B or anyone else that I sent him, he did so with his own accord. It was not with my knowledge nor my permission that he is going to consult with witness B. I deny that I attempted to interfere improperly in the bail proceedings of Tau. I specifically deny that I instructed or requested or authorized Sergeant Tsukudu to contact witness B or any other person regarding Tau's bail. I did not ask Tsukudu to find out whether the state will oppose bail. I did not ask him to plead for bail. I did not ask him to pass any thank you message to witness B after Tau was granted bail. I acknowledge that I mentioned my conversation with Katiso to Tsukudu in a social gathering. And I must say, commissioners, that like I've presented my trajectory in the police, I've had 26 years as a detective investigating officer and a commander, not to know how bail is granted. I wouldn't have sent a sergeant to go and talk to a sergeant to request for bail or ask anything about a case or a bail. In my 26 years as a detective, I can tell that I'm very much experienced and I know what is the process and the procedure of granting bail. And this I can say vividly in terms of section 60, I think subsection 11, that talks to the prerogative that falls within the ambit of the presiding officer to issue bail. It is not the decision of the investigating officer nor any other person or no, the prosecutor, but the presiding officer on the day. Even if the state does not oppose bail, it's still the prerogative of the presiding officer to grant bail. And I've known this for years. So I find it very sinister that I will send at my level a sergeant to go and talk to another sergeant looking for a bail. I know of prosecutors, and I know of magistrates in my work environment. I know of the commanders of this organized crime. I worked with them, they're my colleagues. If I wanted to do something like that, perhaps I could have just gone to those relevant people to try and discuss this with them. I never did that. My mistake perhaps is to talk to my Stokvel members about this case.
Brigadier Nkwashu, because you've started mentioning Officer Tau, did you know him before the issue of the bail? Did you know Officer Tau?
Commissioner Kumalo, thanks. I never knew Officer Tau, and I don't know Officer Tau. I've never seen him until this media flagged his photos during these proceedings.
And then Sergeant Chukudu, did he know Mr. Katiso Mulefe before this discussion you had with him?
Commissioner Kumal, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. But I really don't know.
Did he give you that impression in the Stokvel as you were discussing that your brother-in-law had mentioned a case to you? Did you get the impression from Sergeant Sukudu that he knew who you were talking about?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Let me take you back to paragraph 30 on a very minor matter. The very last sentence there.
I beg your pardon?
Paragraph 30.
30.
Page,
Thank you,
yeah. The last sentence there. I find your use of any in the sentence confusing. You say, I was surprised later to learn he, I understand to be Tsukudu, took any action. Did you want to say he took some action?
Correct, Chair. I wanted to say...
And of course, you then go on to state what the action was immediately thereafter. So he took some action. Yeah, the any is confusing, as I say.
I agree, Commissioner Chair, perhaps even to add that some action on my behalf.
Thank you, thank you.
Thanks, Chair.
So, here's what went down. The commission begins by pointing out something that doesn't quite add up. In paragraph 23 of the testimony, the brigadier says he met Fundiswa and her son, his nephew. Simple enough. Then in paragraph 25, he says a meeting was arranged with Mr. Mulefi at a restaurant. Now the commissioner is thinking, okay, 2 separate meetings, one with Fundiswa and the nephew, and another one later with Mulefi. But then, plot twist. During earlier discussions, it sounded like there was actually a meeting where all of them were present. Fundiswa, the nephew, the brigadier, and Mulefi. And then Fundiswa left them alone. So now the commission is like, wait, which one is it? 2 meetings, 1 meeting, or a combination of both? And this is where things start getting interesting. The brigadier responds calmly. He says, yes, paragraph 23 is correct. He met Fundiswa and his nephew first. Then a day or 2 later, another meeting was arranged. This time, Fundiswa brings along her husband, Mr. Mulefi, because the brigadier had never met him before. She introduces them, and then she leaves. Just like that. Leaving the brigadier alone with a man he's meeting for the very first time. Now, if you're watching this, you might already be thinking, why is this so important? Well, here's why. Because what happens next is where things shift from casual introductions to something much more serious. As the meeting is wrapping up, Mulefi starts talking. He mentions that a friend of his has been arrested, and immediately he starts moving toward the topic of bail. Now pause right there. This is a senior police officer sitting across from someone he just met, and suddenly the conversation is heading into active legal territory, and the brigadier shuts it down instantly. He says, "No, I don't talk about work-related cases, not even with my wife." That's a strong statement. He makes it very clear. His work is off limits. No discussions, no favors, no exceptions. And according to him, Mulfi didn't even get the chance to mention the name of the friend before being stopped. But here's where it gets a little tricky. When questioned further, the brigadier admits that even though Mulfi didn't say the name, he had already started connecting the dots in his mind. He suspected that Mulfi was referring to a case he was involved in. So now the question becomes, how vague was this conversation really? Because the commissioner presses him on this. Was it just a general comment about a friend? Or was it more specific? And the brigadier admits it wasn't that vague. He believed Mulfi was about to talk about a case that he himself was involved in. And that's a key moment. Because now we're not just dealing with a random conversation anymore. We're dealing with a situation where a senior officer believes someone is trying to discuss a case connected to him and possibly influence it. Now fast forward a few days. The brigadier attends a social gathering, a Stockville, with fellow police officers. Just a casual setting, people talking, relaxing, catching up. But then something clicks. His colleagues start talking about a case. They mention suspects being escorted, and among them, a police officer named Michael Pulitau. And suddenly the word bail comes up, and boom, that's when it hits him. He connects this conversation to what Mulfi had tried to bring up earlier. In his mind, he's thinking, wait a minute, is this the case he was talking about? Now, the commission isn't fully convinced. They basically say, hold on, as a police officer, you deal with many cases involving bail. How can you be so sure this is the same one? And honestly, that's a fair question, because connecting those dots requires a bit of assumption. But the brigadier explains his reasoning. He says when he reflected on the earlier conversation, this was the only recent case that made sense. So in his mind, the pieces fit. Now here's where things take another turn. At the Stockville, he casually mentions to his colleagues that his brother-in-law had approached him about assisting with bail. He says he shut it down immediately, just like before. No discussion, no involvement. But then his colleagues start reacting. They question him. Why didn't you let him finish? He's your relative. Why not help? And this is where things get real. Because the brigadier stands his ground. He says, even if it's family, I cannot help. And you can almost imagine the scene. A group of officers, drinks in hand, debating what's right and what's wrong. One says, you could help if you wanted. And he responds, maybe you can, but I won't. That moment is important because it shows the pressure that can exist even in informal settings. Not orders, not instructions, just influence. Now here's where the story gets even more complicated. Later, the brigadier learns that Sergeant Sukudu, one of the colleagues at that gathering, approached someone referred to as Witness B about the case. And immediately, the brigadier distances himself. He says he never asked Sukudu to do that, never instructed him, never even suggested it. According to him, Sukudu acted entirely on his own, and he's very firm about this. He denies any attempt to interfere in the bail process. He denies sending messages. He denies asking for updates. He denies everything. And then he brings in something that adds weight to his defense, his experience. 26 years as a detective. He explains the bail process in detail. He talks about how the final decision lies with the presiding officer, not the investigating officer, not the prosecutor. And his point is simple. I know how this works. Why would I send a sergeant to do something like that? It's a strong argument, but at the same time, it raises another question. If he knows the system so well, why even mention the conversation at the Stockville? Because by his own admission, that might have been his mistake. Not interfering, but talking about it. And sometimes that's all it takes. A casual comment, a passing remark, and suddenly someone else decides to act on it. Whether that's what happened here is exactly what the commission is trying to figure out. To make things even more interesting, the brigadier says he didn't even know the accused officer Tao. He had never seen him before, only recognized him later through media coverage. So now you've got a situation where a meeting takes place, a sensitive topic is raised and shut down, a connection is made days later, A casual conversation happens, and then someone else takes action without direct instruction. It's like a chain reaction. And the big question is, where does responsibility begin and where does it end? By the time this part of the testimony wraps up, the commission isn't accusing him outright, but they're clearly probing, testing the consistency, looking for gaps, because in situations like this, it's not just about what was done, it's about what was said, what was implied, and what might have been understood. And that's why this testimony is so important, because it shows just how complex these situations can be. No smoking gun, no clear confession, just a series of conversations, decisions, and interpretations. And sometimes that's where the truth gets the most complicated. So the next time you hear someone say, "It was just a conversation," remember this. In the world of law enforcement and justice, even a conversation can carry weight.